Welcome back. This is Monty once again from DPLSurve. And as you guys know, those been following, you know that it's a nice little place where I do my 5 mile walk rather consistently. No matter what, I try to get out here. Today I got out here a little bit later. This is the path, dry creek, no water in it. No, since we had no rains lately, we haven't gotten any water. So anyway, still a nice time to get out, nice place to be. Some shady areas, as you can see, and some areas that aren't as shady. Anyway, this session is brought to you by, or sponsored by DPL Surveillance Equipment, aka Spy Gadget Rentals. We're a full-service surveillance and security equipment company with lifetime guarantees and warranties on all the products, 24/7, 365 tech sales and customer support, the largest video library, brand new revamped website, spent thousands of dollars on it, so you guys don't have any excuse. When you go there, it should be very easy to buy the products. Now, I know we're in an economic slump that no one wants to admit to, but ordinarily, when people had money, they would buy these products or rent them or put them on layaway, and it wouldn't be an issue. But I've definitely noticed that we're definitely not in those boom times that we were in once before. So anyway, so much for the good days. But anyway, we have the crypto space is the subject for this particular video. What's going on in the crypto space? Well, as the title implies, we're going to be looking at stress tests, Weiss crypto ratings, and we're going to be looking at quantitative easing. So you may ask yourself, what does that, or what impact do those three things have on Bitcoin and the crypto space or industry in general? Well, to start with the first one, the quantitative easing. Quantitative easing, as you know, or maybe you don't know, has to do with monies that are printed out by your faithful federal government and other central bankers of the world. When they print out money, they print out money and they do things with it. A lot of times they try to stimulate the economy that they fucked up to begin with, or they try to print out money to go to war, print out money to resolve issues again that they created themselves. If they need money to overthrow a government, or what they call it, do some regime change, a nice way of saying put our own dictator in some sort of developing country to replace somebody that may not be as loyal to the United States. So whether it's regime change or whatever, we print out money. We go into, we also print out money. We go into various countries we don't like with our bogus monopoly money. We flood those economies with dollars and we wreck their currencies one way or the other. And then we offer bags full of dollars to save those same countries that we've devastated. So there's a number of different things that we do when we want to affect other economies. So getting back to the United States economy, more specifically, the quantitative easing has resulted in what we call market distortions. In other words, when we're not printing as much right now, but we definitely printed out a whole lot of money, trillions of dollars, and flooded various asset classes. Monies went into stocks. Monies went into real estate. Monies went into commodities. Monies went into real estate. Monies went into large commercial banks and corporate coffers. A lot of that money, again, since it was free money, something for nothing. When you print out free money, what's happening is you cause, again, market distortion. So the price of real estate goes up significantly. A lot of people are priced out of the market. Stocks go up significantly because, again, major corporations, Apple, Facebook, Microsoft, they borrow this free money at no cost, and they buy back their own stock, and they buy other companies, and they invest in this company, acquire that company, merge with the other company. This costs them absolutely nothing because they got free money from the United States, who has a license to print money. So there's distortions. Again, when you buy companies, when you buy up companies with innovative talent and good, very intelligent people, you create distortions in the market. You take people out of their productive capacities and you put them into some large bureaucratic institution that has nothing better to do than stifle innovation and slow down the pace of progress, okay? They bury innovative things that may threaten their business model, for instance. Also, this free money, again, if it's pork bellies or cotton or gold, these market distortions make these assets very difficult to price. We don't know what the true value of anything is anymore, mainly because the federal government and the central bankers have flooded various economies, not only the United States, but Japan and Asia and everywhere else, South Korea, Germany, with this free, newly printed money. So anyway, we got lots of market distortions. We got lots of assets that are not priced appropriately. So we don't have the typical market, the effect of the market typically dictate what something is going to be paid for or sold for or something. But when you have free money in there that's jacking up prices, now it's very difficult for me to determine how much I should pay for certain things because, again, the effect of the monopoly money. So as this relates to Bitcoin, now this is the problem. A lot of financial institutions, a lot of people are getting a hold of this free monopoly money, and they're going into the crypto space, whether it's JP Morgan, Bank of America, Fidelity, Morgan Stanley, who else? You name it, Goldman Sachs. These people have unfettered access to monopoly money printed by the government, and they want to be a part of this new emerging economy. They don't want to be left out. They don't want to be run over. So what do? They take the free money, monopoly money, and they go and buy as much Bitcoin as possible, and they go out and buy various companies, whether it's exchanges, whether it's some other company that has a certain type of innovation, wallets, online presence of some sort in the crypto space. All these things are up for grabs. When you have free money, who cares how much you pay for it, right? Because it didn't cost you anything. You have a AAA rating given to you by the various rating services, and Moody's or whoever just rubber stamps your credit rating without considering how much debt you have or whether or not you actually are taking on too much debt or risk or anything like that. They just rubber stamp these ratings and you get free money, like somebody forging your credit report or something like that. It makes you look good, right? Or at least over the short term, until the bills come to... whoops, hold on one second. I knocked my microphone. Oh, sorry about that. My headset. Anyway, as I was saying, the rating services allow corporations to get away with spending this monopoly space in the crypto industries is where a lot of corporations and the traditional financial sectors, etc., even technology companies are going shopping with their free money. So this is causing distortions in the crypto space. Now, a lot of YouTubers who know a good amount about cryptocurrencies, they talk about the positive effects. As far as they're concerned, this is positive. When you flood the crypto space with free money, the only thing they're looking at, or what they talk about, is the fact that this makes the prices go up. But there's two sides to the coin. when you flood the crypto space with free money, yes, it does cause a lot of activity and appreciation in the crypto space. We saw Bitcoin go to $20,000 per Bitcoin in a big hurry, okay? That was because so much free money came into this space. There were some other factors, but let's talk about quantitative easing for a second. That free money came into this space, ran up the prices considerably, and when people finally looked closely at the value, they determined that maybe Bitcoin shouldn't be valued at $20,000 per Bitcoin, at least not at this point. The underlying fundamentals were not in place. This was just hype. This was just exuberance. So now we have prices that have come down dramatically and are basically in the 6,600, 65, 6,700 price range. Okay? But again, when free money gets printed up and it's invested in the crypto space, we need to be careful because we still have distortions. And these distortions take a while to work themselves out of any asset class. I don't care if it's real estate. I don't care if it's pork bellies or cotton or orange juice or real estate, gold, silver, whatever that money went into, those prices are going to be dramatically affected on the upside until the effects of this quantitative easing works its way out of the system. Okay, then investors and such, they can get a better idea what something's worth after some of this money has been drained from the system, or at least until people are more sensible in terms of evaluating these assets. Okay, so anyway, now we need to deal with the lingering, sobering effect of quantitative easing in the crypto space. And as we try to find the intrinsic value, as we try to find the point of equilibrium in terms of where Bitcoin should be, we're going to just have to deal with the fact that we had a lot of free money and a lot of speculation and such in the crypto space, and now we're dealing with the distortions, and we have to work that out of the system. Okay, so we got to be patient. Another thing I want to talk about is stress tests. Stress tests are currently ongoing in the traditional financial markets, particularly the banking and community. The financial sector and the traditional economy is going through stress tests. That simply means that the federal government is evaluating whether or not J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Citibank, Wells Fargo, all of these companies are getting tested, so to speak, in terms of how they would behave during a financial crisis. Do they have enough assets on their books? Do they have enough? Are they able to operate on their own? Are these financial institutions too interlinked between each other? In other words, if one goes down, like AIG did, if that one goes down, is it going to drag everything else down? These are some of the things that need to be stress tests. The financial stress tests that those companies are currently undergoing is going to tell us a lot about whether or not these companies are capable or not to withstand a recession, depression, financial market collapse, whatever. Okay, so right now, believe it or not, Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs are not passing their tests. They're flunking. They're failing. In other words, they don't have the wherewithal, financial, for instance, to withstand to withstand turbulent market turmoil. In other words, if we had a devastating collapse in the markets, if we had a recession, if we had a depression, it looks like Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs would not pass the stress test. So this is an indication, again, you guys be aware that the traditional financial sector is built on a house of cards, and it doesn't have the financial stability that a lot of people associate with these firms. There's absolutely no reason why these major companies who've been in these financial markets for 100 years or more should not be capable of arranging their internal finances to withstand a collapse. And it could be a recession, it could be a depression, it could be some other financial collapse or whatever. Those companies, Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Citibank, Wells Fargo, USBC, HSBC, all these companies, they really should be prepared. They really should have more than enough capital, more than enough human resources to take a look at this problem and be able to withstand economic downturns without getting bailouts. We want to avoid doing what we did in 2008. Okay, so anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about. The stress tests aren't looking good in the traditional financial markets, and Bitcoin has undergone some stress tests of its own. We have people within the Bitcoin community that are doing our own stress tests. We're stress testing Bitcoin Cash. We're going to know the result. Bitcoin passed with flying colors, by the way. Bitcoin Cash, I can't really say right now, and I don't have a whole lot of confidence that they're going to turn out good results like they're supposed to. But we're going to wait and see, and I'll update you guys later on. Another thing, besides stress tests, there's a company called Weiss Crypto Ratings. WEISS, Weiss Crypto Ratings. It's a company that has a lot of experience in the traditional financial markets. They rate other companies. They rate, I don't know, public companies, private companies, I can't remember which one or both, but whether that's one or both. But Weiss Crypto Ratings has a lot of experience rating other companies. So they decided that they would apply their talent and their knowledge to the crypto space. In the crypto space, we really need to use some of these tools to let investors know what they're looking at. But the problem is the traditional financial tools need to be modified a little bit in order to really apply to crypto assets and crypto companies and in the crypto industry overall. In other words, how do you rate Ethereum as compared to Litecoin, as compared to Bitcoin, as compared to XRP? They have some things in common, and in other areas they have absolutely nothing in common. So unfortunately, Weiss Crypto Ratings has this work cut out for it, and a lot of people are really critical of what they're doing so far and how things look so far. But we need to be patient. Maybe there'll be some competition, and maybe Weiss Crypto Ratings will start to listen and make some changes. So we'll be able to compare these crypto assets and get good ratings that are unbiased and give us a very good indication as compared to as in terms of what we're looking at. Okay, so those are three different things that I want to cover, and above all, just make sure you guys understand you can't go to sleep on this. There are some very exciting things going on. You can free yourself from the enslaved system of fiat currency and the traditional economy. This crypto boom or crypto innovation is going to liberate a lot of people, like it has liberated me and my wife, my family, from being beholden to the traditional economy. In other words, when you have possession of your own money and nobody can take it away from you, you can send money from person to person, company to company, or whatever, without middlemen, and that's liberating. Okay, so and there is no excessive quantitative easing. There is no quantitative easing at all in Bitcoin. There's only 21 million coins. That's what it's going to be, and that's what it is. So we don't have to worry about the inflationary impact in this particular space. So yeah. When you guys go shopping, you go buy your gas, you go buy your groceries. You're paying the price. If you hold dollars and you are 100% beholden to that system without any cryptos or whatever, that's what's going to happen. You're going to pay a lot more than you should because your money has less value, a lot less value in terms of what you need. So that's very important going forward. So anyway, make sure you pay attention. I know this social media stuff is like, who's actually paying attention, who actually has time to do anything but post pictures of cat videos and baby pictures or whatever, or food dishes from the local restaurant. So anyway, some of these things are less important, and try to make sure that you don't miss this opportunity. This is the internet all over again, okay? This time, instead of just having major innovation as far as communications are concerned, now you have the opportunity to have money-based innovation as the primary driver. In other words, the traditional internet wasn't primarily focused on money as much as communication. It was all about sending emails, pulling up websites, pulling up pictures, watching videos. This particular this time we have an innovation that's all about money primarily, and communications is further down the line. In other words, it's not so much about me talking to you or sending you pictures or something. Now it's all about me sending you money and you sending me money, rescuing people in the developing countries, having a way out for people in Venezuela, having an escape hatch for people in Zimbabwe, having alternatives and choices for people in Argentina, allowing people in China to skirt the effects of the government tightening tightening what the citizens can do with their money. In other words, when you have capital flight to the tune of tens of billions of dollars coming out of China, now that people need a real alternative, they need a real choice. So Bitcoin actually it's quite useful in those situations. The first world people are kind of complacent and kind of comfortable with the idea that they can't see the emergency, they can't see the erosion of their money, they can't see how they're manipulated and controlled as much. But when you get outside the United States and some of these other countries, you can see it, and you can talk to people online, for instance, and they'll tell you 40,000% inflation in Venezuela or whatever is very real. Okay, we need to get our money out of there and put our money into something else. That's what those guys would tell you. Sending money across the continent of Africa, being charged excessive fees by the money-grubbing bastards, like the equivalent of the Western Unions and the MoneyGram services. Those guys will take most of your money and they will slow down your transactions. There will be intermediaries. There will be screening of dollar amounts. There will be all sorts of monitoring and surveillance. So anyway, we need to get away from that and recognize what we have. So wake up out there and find out what is the problem with the traditional financial economy. Read the book or look at the video, Creature from Jekyll Island, that talks about the Federal Reserve and talks about how our system is basically controlled and manipulated by central bankers and Federal Reserve out of the United States, and how the cartels who run the banking system could care less about you gaining any foothold, getting any measure of prosperity. When they want to bring on a recession, they flip a switch. When they want to create a depression, they flip a switch. And they do it at the ideal time when you guys are just gaining some traction. Okay? Again, when you guys are finally making progress in the traditional financial economy, that's when they flip the switch and they say, okay, let's bring a halt to this prosperity for the working people. The commoners we don't want them to get too ahead of themselves. Okay, we trigger the recession or the depression, take back the cars, take back the houses, drain the bank accounts, and make those suckers start all over again. Okay, that's the way it works. The sooner you guys realize this, the better. So the only way I can communicate this right now is this stupid social media stuff like that. And hopefully I'm reaching some people. If I just reach one person, that'll be good. If not, then who gives a fuck, I'm just trying to do my part. So anyway, I'm going to close out this video. I do run my own business, and I'm going to start promoting it a little bit more. Even though I know people are too broke to patronize the business, and I don't want the fucking bogus credit cards that a lot of people have with no money in the bank. Nothing worse than somebody paying for a product that they can't afford, and then they get buyer's remorse 5 minutes after they purchase, and then they start complaining so they can get their money back. We don't want that. So I'm going to try to convert my website over to Bitcoin based transactions, checks, money orders, wire transfers. Okay, because then that way I don't have to deal with the idiots who don't have any money, who are not realizing what's going on and why they're in that predicament. Yeah, even though I keep making these stupid fucking videos so you guys can figure it out, but you still can't figure out, you still can't make the connection. Anyway, you guys have fun, take it easy, we'll talk later, bye.